In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a complete beginner's guide to Zoom. I'm going to be walking you through setup and installation, as well as basic use of Zoom, advanced features, integrations, comparisons, and even some troubleshooting at the end for common problems people might face. I'm going to timestamp it down below so you can click through the video depending on where you are looking for advice. But let's get right into it, starting off with how to actually get Zoom. So the first thing you want to do is go over to the Zoom website, which is zoom.com. Once you go to the website, it's going to look something like this, and you want to go to the top right hand side and sign up for a free account. So click on sign up free. So once you do that, it's going to ask you to put in your details. It wants your email address and birth year, but you can alternatively sign up with another thing such as SSO, Apple, Google, or Facebook. Whichever one is the best for you, go ahead and sign up with that. But just remember, you'll have to sign in with those when you want to access your account. So go ahead and do that now. Now, once you put your email in, it's going to ask you for a verification code. And to get this verification code, you need to go and head over to the email that you just put in. So for me, I've put mine in and it's come up on my phone. So I'm just going to go to my email now. I'm going to get the code and I'm just going to type it in here to verify that it's my email. And here we are, I've just signed into my Zoom account and you can see that my profile is now showing up. So this is going to be the website edition of Zoom, and you can actually go ahead and join calls and host them from here. But I would highly recommend going ahead and downloading the app for your computer, as it just makes it a little bit easier to go ahead and use. So to do that, we can go and type in download Zoom in our search bar. And it should be one of these top links here. Here we go. So I'm on a Mac, but if you're on Windows, it's going to be a pretty similar process. Just download it for the correct version of computer that you have. Again, when you do download this, even if you download the wrong version, there's a chance that it still works. It just might not be optimized for your computer, which may cause problems later, but it can still work fine. So go ahead, hit one of the download buttons. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Apple Silicon one, which is what I'm on, and it's going to download an installer. Now, if you're on Windows, it's going to be pretty similar. You're going to probably download an exe file or similar. But essentially what we can do now is we can go ahead and open this and we can install Zoom onto our computer. So if I double click it and just walk through all of these options, it's going to tell us how much space. And there we go, it's gone ahead and installed Zoom. So we can close that now, and I'm going to move the installer to trash. And now Zoom should go ahead and open up. It might be a little bit slow on the first run just because it's, installing all the stuff. But there we go. We can see it's now opened up. So when you first log into Zoom, there's a chance that you have to log into your account. So just use the account details that we just set up our account with, and then we should be ready to go. So here's for some of the more basic features and actually getting to use Zoom just for its most simple features. So first of all, if we want to go ahead and join a meeting, we can click on this button here that says join. And when we do this, we can go ahead and enter the meeting ID, which the person should send you. So go ahead and enter the meeting ID. It will be a string of numbers. I think it's like 10 numbers, something like that. Just enter it in here. You can copy and paste it in. And you can also go ahead and use a personal link name. Once you've done that, you can change the name. So this is the name that your name will be when you show up. So this is what people will see you as. So make sure it's accurate, or make sure it's not something you don't want it to be. Then also you can go ahead and don't connect to audio or turn off my video. I'd recommend not messing with these as this can cause problems later. But once you're ready, you can go ahead and press join, and that should go ahead and join the call. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start a new meeting just to show you what it all looks like. So here I am, I've just created a new meeting and it's opened up the meeting room here. And first of all, it's going to ask if I want to join with my computer audio. You want to click on join with computer audio, as this will allow you to speak and also allow you to hear what the other people are saying. If you're not too sure, you can press on this button here that says test speaker and microphone. This will test to make sure that your speaker's working. So your speaker is what plays the sound, and the microphone is what takes the sound in and sends it to the other person essentially. So you can test that if it's not working. I'm just going to close it for now. But you can see here we have Zoom open now. This is the very basics of Zoom. And at the bottom here, you're going to see a lot of different settings, and I'm going to quickly walk through all of those. So first of all, we have the join audio button here. We can click on this, and this, as I said, will join with the computer audio. And once you've joined it, if you see it going up and down like this, you can see how the on the microphone it's going up and down. That means that it's registering the audio and it can hear you. Now what you can do is you can click on this little arrow up here, and you have a ton of settings that you can go ahead and change. So you can select the microphone you want to use. So you can see I'm using my MacBook Air one, but maybe I want to use this microphone here. I can click on that and that will change the microphone. And we can also change the speaker. So maybe you've got a wireless speaker, you've got some headphones and it's not coming out of your headphones. You can change the speaker that it comes out of here. There's some more audio settings, but I'll go through those in a minute. They're a bit more advanced. You've also now got your camera here. So this is your video. You can again press the arrow up here, and this is going to go ahead and change the camera that you're using, so you can select the camera you want to use. Now just quickly with these two, if you click on it, so if I click on this here, that has now muted me. So if you see that you've got a little red line through the microphone or a red line through here, that means you're muted and people will not be able to hear what you're saying. So if people can't hear what you're saying, it could be because you're muted. Again, you can also do the same thing with video. I can click that and my video is turned off, and I can turn it back on like that. So if someone can't hear you or can't see you, just check to make sure that you don't have these with the line through them. So next up here we have our participants, and you can see it says participants and it has a number here. That's 1. That means there's 1 participant in the call. Obviously that's me. But if more people join, the number will change. So if there's 2, it will change to 2. If you click on the arrow up here, you can go ahead and you can press on the copy invite link button. And what you can do is you can then send that link, you can paste it. So you can send it on WhatsApp, email, text, send it however you would like to. And when you send that to someone, they can click on it, and that's going to go ahead and open the link, and it's going to open up the Zoom call, and they can join directly into the call. So it's very simple for someone to go ahead and join your call. Just send them that link. Very easy to do. Next up we have our chat, and the chat is a really useful feature, especially if you're doing some business calls or you need to send files or information, that kind of thing. Click here and it's going to show chat, and this is going to be the chat on the right hand side, and when you send a message here, it's going to send to everyone in the chat. So if I say hello, that's going to send to everyone. If I want to send it to an individual person, I can change the to here. So I just click on this, and if there was other participants, I can click on it and it would allow me to select the participant I want to send to. So if there's a specific person, I can go ahead and do that. What I can also do is I can send files. So if I click on the file button, I can send a Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, SharePoint, or a link from my computer or a file from my computer. And this is just a really great way to send things like PDFs or sharing files. You can also in here send links. So if you paste a link, for example, if I paste the Zoom link in here like this, they can click on that link and it's going to open that link up. So you can send any link in here. So maybe you're sharing some kind of files, you can go ahead and do that. If someone says something in the chat like, hey, can you send the link? What you can do is you can actually click on this bubble here. This is the reply bubble. Click reply, and you can go ahead and reply directly to that message. Here it is, and they'll be able to see that you've replied to it, and it adds a little bit of context for people going through the chat. They can see, oh, that's what he's referring to there. And then you've also got your formatting here. So if you want to change, the text, you maybe want to make it bold. You've got all of your normal sort of settings here. You can even change the color. All of your normal sort of settings are available, including size, and I can just send that just like this. Next to that, you're going to see a little ... I can go ahead and edit this if I want to change it, and I can also go ahead and quote it, or I can copy it. So let's say you've got a link here and you just want to copy it. I can go ahead and do that, and that's copied to my clipboard, so I can paste it into my browser or wherever. So the chat is very easy to go ahead and use. Next up, we have our React. So these are reactions that we can use. You've got all of these different ones here, and basically if you click on it, it's going to send an effect across the screen, or you've got these reactions here. So if I just press this, it's just going to be a small one that pops up in the corner as opposed to showing up across the whole screen. You've also got your raise hand, so if you want to ask a question, you can press this and your hand will raise. and it's also going to play a sound to the host, so they'll know that you've raised your hand and they can give you permission to speak, basically, because they might have muted you, that kind of thing. Over here we have our share button, so this is if we want to go ahead and share our screen. Click on that and it's going to open this up here, and it will allow you to share your screen. So you've got your entire screen, you've got application windows. It just allows you to show what is on your screen currently, so it's good if you're trying to show demos, that kind of thing. We also have our host tools here. You've got stuff like lock meeting, and you've got your waiting room. So a waiting room is going to be a room on the side. When someone joins the call, they're going to go straight into the waiting room rather than directly into the call. This is really good if you want to leave someone on the side for a bit and then admit them in a bit. So you can go ahead, leave them there, and then when you're ready, press admit, and it will allow them to join the call. It's good for if you're doing interviews and you need to discuss something with someone, that kind of thing. You've also got stuff like hide pictures, and then you've got all of these different options for what you can allow the participants of the call to do. These settings are only available if you're the host. Obviously we're the host because we created the meeting here. We've got our more here, so we've got record, meaning you can record the call, which is really useful. It will record the audio, the video, so you can play it back later. You've also got captions, and then you've got stuff like Google Docs or just Docs, notes, whiteboards, and apps. The whiteboards here, they're pretty laggy, they're not great, but if you need for some reason to have a whiteboard up, you can go ahead and do it. It's integrated in. Not my favorite feature. I don't think it works super well, but it's there in case you do really need it. Now those are some of the most basic features. Let's kind of look into some of the more advanced features now. So if we go into audio here, we can actually go to audio settings. If we click on this, we're going to see a ton of different settings here. There's loads of settings overall, but let's start with audio. So first of all, in the audio settings, you're going to see we have our speaker. This is what we spoke about earlier. You can change which speaker the sound comes out of, but you can also change how loud the volume is. So if they're a bit quiet, you can turn them up, or if they're too loud, you can turn them down. You've got spatial awareness, that kind of thing. So if you want the audio to come from different directions, that's going to come up. You've also got test your microphone, and you can change the microphone that's coming into. You can see right now my microphone's working as this is going up and down. I can change my microphone input volume. At the moment I have it automatically adjusted, so that's a good setting to have on in case you don't want it too loud or too quiet. Now one really cool feature here is Zoom background noise removal. This is great for if you have a noisy room. You can see I've got it set on automatic, but you can change the settings if you for some reason aren't experiencing the right level of noise suppression. So let's say you have people speaking in the background, you can set it to high, and that's going to remove the sound of people in the background. The higher you set it, the worse the quality of your voice is going to be, but it depends on the situation. Down here we've got stuff like ringtones, but most of these settings you can just have a quick look at and they aren't super useful. Now along with that we can go to video, and inside video we're going to have a lot of video settings here. So we can change our camera, we can change the ratio, we can make it HD, we can mirror it, so flip which way it is depending on what you like. And you've got just more video settings in here that you can kind of look at, all of these different ones here. So if you're having any kind of issues, maybe look into here, that might be able to help you. But also alongside video, we can go over to the blur my background. That's going to blur your background. We've also got stuff like adjust background and effects. So here we can see my video, and we've got all these different video settings here. One of the ones I like the most is the portrait lighting. This is going to go ahead and sort of change the background to make it look more professional. You can see the background's blurred, but I'm also a bit more bright. I think it looks really professional and good. They have this blur here, but I think it kind of looks a little bit too much. So I think this one's a little bit more subtle, more professional looking. You can also change your background to any of these things. You've got videos. All of these are going to be, they're not that useful, but if you just want to blur your background, this is a good one to have. Down here we have all of our avatars. So these are more fun for if you're on a family call. You can change yourself to be one of these. I'll let you play around with these in your own time. You can just see what you like, what you think is cool. Let me put this back to none. And then we've got our video filters. So these are just like overlays. Let's say you've got like a Christmas party or something. You can put these above just to add a little bit of festivities, that kind of thing. And also down here we have, touch-ups, eyebrows, moustache, all of those kind of things. They're a bit more playful, but they're still fun features that you might want to use. Now, one more thing is, if you are experiencing your camera being upside down, for example, if you go to the background and effects section, you can press this button up here and rotate it until it's the right way up. So that's a really useful one. Sometimes cameras they might look like this. Just keep doing it until it's the right way around. That's a super useful one to go ahead and do. I think we've covered pretty much all of the other features in here in terms of these. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press end meeting. So I can click end here, and I can either end the meeting for everyone, meaning it will close for everyone, or I can just leave the meeting. So if there's anyone else in the meeting, they will stay in there and be able to talk. But I'm going to end the meeting for all now, and I'm back to the Zoom dashboard here. So that's the basics of setting up a meeting, all the features, what they all do. Over here we now have the schedule button. So if you want to schedule a meeting into the future, you can go ahead and set that up. You can set a date when it starts, the end date. You've got your time zone here, so just make sure you're on the right time zone for you. You've got repeating, so you can set a meeting to repeat daily at a time. This is useful if you're doing it with Teams, as it will mean you don't have to manually create it each time and you don't have to manually send the link. You can put their email addresses in here, so they will always have access to these meetings, and it just saves you time, especially if you've got a big team. You don't have to send them out every single day, that kind of thing. You've got attachments, you've got your passcodes for your meeting, and then you've also got your settings such as cameras off and that kind of stuff. In a minute I'll show you how to integrate Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use. This is really useful as it will block out a time in your calendar for this, and it will also put the link in there, just make it really organized and easy to use essentially. I'm just going to discard this, but if you wanted to go ahead and create the meeting, you'd press save and that would create the meeting here. So there we go, I press discard. In here, this little box here, it will show you the date, the time. This is going to go ahead and have all of the meetings in there that you're scheduled to do. So if you've got a meeting in 5 minutes, it will show up here. So you can just browse through here and see which meetings you have. But you can also do it by date as well. So if you've got meetings in the past or future, you can look in here and it will tell you when the meeting is, the start time, end time, who it's with, all that kind of stuff here. Again, if you want a bigger view of it, you can click onto here. This will show you. And we've got stuff like our team chat, scheduler, which we've kind of just looked at, and we also have whiteboards here, which I spoke about before. You can create whiteboards here, and they have these templates for different types of charts in case you want to go ahead and try them out. We have more here, which again is the features we've already talked about there. So that's basically the base functions of Zoom itself, and now I'll show you a little bit more about customization. So if we go back onto Chrome here and we go back here, we're able to actually do a lot of customizations. The first thing we might want to do is go to our profile and just change some profile settings. So here you can see, first of all, I have my name. I can press edit here and I can change my first name, last name, display name, pronunciation, pronouns, location, company, department, job title, all of those I can go ahead and change. If I want to as well, I can set a profile picture here. I just have one of my dog. You can press change and you can go ahead and change your profile picture. It will take one from your computer and basically you can change it there to anything you'd like. Down below here we've got some more settings or more profile things, your phone number, language, date format, your meeting IDs, your account information, emails, and then you've also got devices here that you're signed in with. So let's say that you have a device which you're signed in with, but maybe you want to log out of it, or maybe it's weird. You can press here, that will sign out of that device so that you can't use that device anymore. You can also press sign me out of all sessions, and that will sign you out of every single thing you're on. So your computer, your phone, all of those things, it will sign you out. Down here we have a ton of different settings. We've got our meetings, webinars, phone. There's really so many here that you can go ahead and mess around with, but I'll just let you look at those. Down here we have some more admin stuff such as our plans and billing. If we go to plan management here, there's a free plan which you'll start on, but you can also upgrade to the pro plan. The pro plan gives you a few more options such as 30 hours per meeting. Currently the free plan allows you to have a 40-minute meeting, and after 40 minutes it will cut off. You can have 30-hour meetings, you can have unlimited meetings, you can assign hosts and co-hosts, you can record to the clouds, meaning if you record a meeting, it will be uploaded to their system. It doesn't have to go on your computer. And they also have this AI companion, which is pretty cool. So it will automatically write down notes about your meeting. It will summarize it. It's a really, really cool function in terms of documenting and just writing down details from your meeting. So if you do need those functions, I'd go ahead and upgrade to it. I'll leave a link down below if you do want to go ahead and do that. You've got your billing management and your payment history, which is quite self-explanatory. And you've also got your user management here. So if you've got a team, you can add users, groups and roles. So maybe you have different departments, you can group them. This is just an easy way if you want to set up a meeting with specific groups. You can just do that to one group rather than having to individually list out all of the names every time. It's just a good way of making it a bit more efficient once you are kind of using it regularly. Down here we have stuff like our room management, workspace management, we have phone systems. So this is a cool one. You can set this up where people can phone into your Zoom call rather than needing to be on a computer. This one is very useful. We have our account management, and we just have some advanced stuff here. The main advanced one, which you'll probably want to try and use, is the app marketplace. So the app marketplace allows you to integrate Zoom with tons of different apps and software. This is really useful for many different things. But let's say we have this one here. So this is AI generated meeting summaries. This will be in your call and it will just give you summaries. But there's so many different apps here you can look at. You've got quizzes. But if you have anything you want to use, go and look in here. The chances are, if you're using some kind of software or app, it will probably integrate to Zoom. So Google Drive, if you need to share documents, Asana, Workday. Really, there's so many different ones. You've also got integrations for stuff like your Google Calendar. So if I just type in calendar, you can see I've got my Google Calendar, Zoho Calendar, and you can just click on it and you can add it, and it's going to go ahead and allow you to integrate your calendar into Zoom. So those integrations are really, really useful, and I'd recommend going ahead and giving them a try, as it will kind of streamline the process of Zoom. Now, one app I want to talk about in particular, which is great for business, is called Calendly. And the way Calendly works is it's a scheduling program, and it allows you to create a booking page. And on that booking page, it allows people to book calls with you, and it will automatically integrate into Zoom to set a Zoom call up. It's basically good if you don't want to have to go back and forth with people on email. You don't want to have to email someone asking, is this time available for you? And if you've got a lot of interviews, you don't want to be doing that. So you can just say, hey, click on this link, book a call when's good for you, and I'll see you there. And that will automatically allow them to pick the best time for them, and it will also align with times that you are free, and it will automatically book it into your Zoom calendar, and it integrates with Google as well, or whatever calendar you're using. So it will block out a time on your calendar for that call, as well as the details of it. It's just a really great way to streamline the process, especially if you're doing interviews and that kind of thing. So I use this a lot. I'd recommend giving this a go. It's called Calendly, calendly.com. They've got a free trial, and I'll also leave a link to it down below in case you want to go ahead and use it. Now, there are a few different alternatives to Zoom. There's a few that I'd recommend trying. I'll show you them now. So the first one we have is Google Meet. Google Meet is good if you have your team on a Google ecosystem. So if they've got Google Workspace set up, it's a really good one that easily integrates. It's very similar to Zoom. It's on the web, so you don't have to download anything. It's a pretty easy one to go ahead and use. You've also got Skype. Skype is a better one for speaking to friends and family, as it has like a little chat window which will stay open. It's quite good for messaging people, and it's better for person to person rather than businesses. And you've also got ones like Discord. So Discord is pretty cool if you want to have communities. And you've also got Slack. Slack is a good one for teams as well. You can have different channels, but it's a bit more corporate than Discord is. You've also got Microsoft Teams, which is very similar to Zoom. It's good if you have your team on Microsoft already. If they're using all of the Microsoft products, then you might want to use this. But to be honest, my favorite ones are Zoom and Google Meet for more business stuff, and Discord for more personal things. So I'd recommend going ahead and giving those a try. Now, the last thing we should talk about is some of the problems you may face with Zoom. So you may face problems with audio not working, and I'll give you a quick show of how you might have issues. Okay, so first of all, if you are in a call and the person cannot hear you, then there's a few things it could be. First of all, you might be muted down here. If you see this, it means you're muted. Click that and that should unmute you. If you don't see this green going up and down inside the microphone, then the chances are your microphone is not picking up your audio. So there could be a few reasons for this. I'd recommend clicking on the up arrow here. Just check that you're connected to the correct microphone. You might be connected to the wrong one, and that will not work, of course. So make sure you're connected to the right one. Now, if that doesn't help, sometimes restarting Zoom and your computer can help, or unplugging and plugging back in your microphone, that can help. If you can't hear them, it's the same sort of thing. Make sure you've got the right speaker selected, and also make sure that they are not muted. So they might be muted like this. Same with video. If they can't see you, you might have your video off. Make sure you've turned it on. And make sure you've selected the correct camera, make sure there's nothing blocking your camera, and make sure there's no other devices using your camera or softwares, that kind of thing. Again, if you're having issues, you can unplug your camera, or you can restart Zoom, restart your computer. This can often just help. The last big one that people often have issues with is lag, echoing, bad picture quality, bad audio quality. This can be a few different reasons. It can be your internet. This can only be fixed by getting better internet or going somewhere with better internet, like a cafe. But you can also make sure you're not downloading anything, make sure you're not watching any videos at the same time, and even turning off your camera will help. So if your connection's a bit bad, you can just say to them, sorry, I'm going to turn off my camera because my internet's not good enough. This should make it better, and they'll understand, I'm sure. You can also try restarting your computer. This can sometimes help with your internet and make things a little bit better. Sometimes your computer might not be powerful enough, so just make sure you've got all other apps closed apart from Zoom, and you should be good to go. But those are the main issues people generally face with Zoom. If you have any other issues that you might come into, let me know down below and I'll go ahead and solve them. But that is the video completed. You now know how to use Zoom. That's a complete beginner's guide. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe, comment down below that helped. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one.